Hello Oseal, hello Lions. This was a plane, but unfortunately it was not my plane. As you might know, I missed it on Tuesday evening, or sorry, it was Wednesday evening, because I lost my passport. Yeah, what should I say? It's a really big mess. I'm really sad that I cannot talk to you in person. I cannot be with you on this weekend. I hope that you had a really wonderful and great Oseal Forum, and Kai Potterfong gave me the chance to speak to you via video, so I'll try my best. I never recorded a video about me, about what I was doing, so let's give it a try. Hi Leos, now I'm finally back home and ready to talk to you. Sorry again for not being able to come, but as I said earlier, I lost my passport, and we were searching it for the whole day. It was too late to get a visa, and so unfortunately I couldn't come. I'm very glad that I get the opportunity to talk to you through the webcam and get the chance to present my story to you. Let me start with Steve. This is Steve. He was born in Southern California with a heart defect, and he was not able to live a normal life. 2 years ago he suffered from a heart attack and was about to die. But by fortune he got a donor heart and was able to survive. Since then he was able to live a normal life again. Because he wanted to give something back to the society, he joined the Lions Club since, and he's a very active member. He's from Seal Beach Lions Club, as I said, one of the biggest Lions clubs in the world. Steve, he's one of hundreds of stories which I was able to experience for the last several years. It also raised the question in me, what does me make a lion, or what does you make a Leo? Is it only the needle? Is it the community? Is it the network, the society, the social services, or the projects? I think he's the perfect example to think about it, and I'm really glad that I can share my story with you. Let's start a little earlier, in 1994. I was a 12-year-old kid. I was born in 1982. I was born in Upper Austria, in Österreich. Let me tell you a little bit about Austria. First of all, there are no kangaroos. This is not Australia, it's Austria, right? So many people all over the world mix it up. From Australia to Austria there's a big distance in between. Austria is situated in the middle of Europe, next to Germany, Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovenia, Switzerland or Italy. Austria is very famous by its mountains, by the wonderful nature such as lakes. We also have a lake which only exists in summer when the snow was melting. Then you can see here everything is flooded. It's called the Green Lake. You might have heard about Salzburg. It's a very beautiful city where Mozart was born, and it plays a main role in the sound of music. Right now we have autumn, in the beginning of winter. This is winter time, Hallstatt. You can see a lot of snow. It's very familiar with us. People like to go skiing. And even we have the world's biggest or largest ice caves, which you can see here in this picture. You can also go there and have some concerts, which is pretty crazy and weird, but yes, we do this. On the same mountain called Dachstein, you also have a very beautiful view over the lakes and mountains in Austria. This is Vienna, our capital. You might have heard about it. We have this tradition of riding these horses. We have old buildings, and we have our #1 site of Austria called Schloss Schönbrunn. Inside it's very beautiful castle, as you can see here. Next to it's very late over here. Next to Schloss Schönbrunn there is the Schloss Schönbrunn Zoo. It's the world's oldest zoo. Look at the beautiful stables. Our main river is called the Danube, the Donau. Along it we have a lot of vineyards, as you can see here, or here in this picture. As you can see, Austria not only has big mountains, we also have a lot of rolling hills and nice landscapes such as this with old castles. This is how people used to dress. Very, very nice attire, as I think. You can also wear it during the day or for special occasions. When it comes to food, this is our traditional food. It's called Wiener Schnitzel, and it's basically pork, fried pork, and you can eat it with French fries or with other side dishes. We also have this kind of dumplings stuffed with sweet or sour fillings. While doing the research for this talk, I also found out that we have the oldest still open restaurant in the world in Austria. I think it was founded in 1200 or so it's really old. I've never been there, but maybe one day. I'm pretty sure you know this guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's the Terminator from old movies. And whenever he talks about sweet stuff, it's called Apfelstrudel, apple pie. We love to eat sweet things in Austria. So we have a lot of different cakes, which we are very proud of. And we like to go to cafes, such as this. But back to my story. I was born in Austria, as I said. I grew up in this little village called Münster, which has around 7,000 people. I had a wonderful childhood. I grew up in a small family. I had a brother and a sister, and everything was pretty much okay. I also had a pretty good school friend. His name was Thomas Oehler. He dedicated all his time to riding the bicycle, as you can see here in the picture. Whenever he had time, he went home and rode his bicycle. He jumped over the cars, he entertained people, and he was like really crazy on this. 20 years later, he's one of the world's best trial bike riders in the world. So you can see here he's very professional. He's riding for Red Bull and he's doing a lot of stunts with his bikes. He was my idol during that time, and whenever I thought of him, I was like, oh my god, what makes me special? What can I do? What can, you know, what is something I can make? This photo was taken during my university in Salzburg. It was a project called Time, Light and Space. We had to discover ourselves and take pictures of what we are. As you can see, I looked really transparent because I did not know who I am or who I was. So the question who I am followed me all of my childhood and adultness. So it was the right time to discover who I am or who I was. After some problems in my life, I tried to change this and find out who I was. So to that very time, I was part of the Leo Club in Wels. I was the president. I was there for 3 terms, and I really had a good time there. The people did not judge me by what my failures was or what I did wrong. They accepted me as the person I was, which made me really proud of. So this is Wels. There are 5 Lions clubs and 1 Leo club. And when I was president, there was no real, I did not know how to run a Leo club. It was very new to me. I knew that we had to serve, we had to do some charity projects, but nobody told me how to do it in the right way. To be honest, maybe I was a little naive. I did not ask for the Lions to help me because I wanted to do it on my own. So as you can see, this is the Leos, how we met. We came together in my office, we talked about projects, and we knew that we have to raise money to help other people. So how did we do this? In Austria we have the tradition of Christmas markets. So there is also a Christmas market in our hometown in Wels, which you can see here. And together with the Lions we have our own hut where we can sell hot red wine, other beverages, something to eat. And for this money we raise, we can help other people, basically. We also made our own liquor, which we sold in supermarkets. So you can see some of the members of our Leo Club. During my presidential term, we helped people who were not able to cook anymore or were not able to serve their families. So we bought the kitchens, we installed it, and so we helped them. We also bought wood for people who were not able to heat their ovens or stoves. And we helped people who were not able to pay for horse therapies, in this case. We also have we also have a yearly activity called charity bowling. We challenge ourselves to during this afternoon. So for every point we bowl, we spend a certain amount of money to a charity project. But there was one big problem in our community or in our Leo Club. It was really hard to gain new members. There were not enough attendees in our activities, and nobody really told me how to become a better Leo Club, right? So for us it was really a tough time, because for me there was no real understanding what Leos have to do and how a Leo Club is to be run. So for me this was the point where I started to think, I know that there are lots of Leo clubs outside of Austria, all around the world. There are like 7,000 or 6,000 Leo clubs, and I really wanted to explore the superpower of other Leos. I really wanted to know how other Leos are going to serve the community, how they run a club, what's so special about them. So it was in 2014 I started to write hundreds and hundreds of Leo clubs around the world over Facebook, Twitter, email, Instagram. I wrote them, I have this idea, I want to visit you, I want to explore what you are doing, I want to take pictures of your activities or your projects, and I want to assemble everything into a book, which I'm going to present in 2017 at the Lions International Convention for the 100th anniversary. So it was a pretty crazy idea, but after some time, it was like a year or so, or half a year, I got like 70 answers from Leos around the world, which you can see here on this map. It looks pretty amazing to see all these Leos everywhere, and they wanted me to come and they wanted me to be a guest. So I challenged myself and said, yes, the challenge is accepted, I want to go there. So as you can imagine, because I'm talking to you, I made it possible. After 40 weeks of total travel time, I made the project come alive. You can see here 300 pages printed, almost 400 pages printed on the floor of my agency. It was like 1 month before the Lions International Convention this year took place. Some pictures from the printing company. This was 2 days only before the Lions International event took place. 1,000 copies of the Leo book were delivered, and you can see it here. It's a big book. It has 2.5 kilograms. It's very heavy. A lot of pictures in it. So we had to shift this manually to the second floor in my office. But yeah. 2 days later, I went to Chicago to the presentation, which I was really nervous. I'm almost as nervous as today talking to you guys. So this was the very first talk. As you can see, same presentation, same slides, a lot of international Lions and Leo friends listening to this project. And this was the time when I said, okay, I want to kick off the Leo Book Experience Tour, which basically means I will travel around the world again. I will visit all major Leo or Lions events, and I will spread the idea of this project, the idea of serving others, and to show that the Leos and the Lions community is a big network all around the world. So we are going to start from the very west part of the world in Alaska and go all the way to the Philippines. I don't show the projects in chronological order because I traveled, you know, on different countries and different dates, but to track it a little bit better, I start from the west and go to the east. So let's start in Anchorage, Alaska. Really beautiful country. I have been there last September in 2016. So this person here in the middle, he's not a lion, but several years ago he heard the voice in his dreams which said, feed the kids, feed the kids. So he dedicated all his time, all his money, all his life to feeding the kids. He built this institution, he financed it with his own money and with support of others, so people can go there and cook for kids and make it possible that kids who have no chance to eat proper dinner and lunch can have food there. So when I was there, we volunteered together with the Leos and Lions. They also have a very funny way to raise money for the Leos. So together with the Lions, they organize karaoke nights and they challenge each other. So I have to put like $10 into the piggy bank and challenge one of you guys to sing for me, and either you pay back the money or you can sing, and all the money which is collected will be given to the Leos so they can travel to the International Lions Convention each year. So you can see the piggy bank right in the middle of the table, which was a really awesome event. And just during this night we collected like $400 which is a lot of money. So you can imagine when you do this like 4 to 5 times a year, you can raise a lot of money for the Leos. Remember Steve from the beginning? He's from Seal Beach in Southern California. This is the place where surfing was introduced. So the Lions friends took their time and organized a leadership camp for the Alpha Leos. So they explained them how to run a club, what's so special about secretary jobs and the presidential jobs and vice president and treasurers. They also because they also try to they also have some activities according to eyesight programs. So to understand blind people better, they try to be blind by themselves and vice versa. So they, very nice to see. As you can see, they are very into the topic. In this case it's about, in this picture it's about treasurers. They also write anonymous letters to veterans. So they write the letters, they will be collected, brought to the veterans and read there. On the same day we also went to a nursing home and visited people, prayed with them, talked with them, had a good time with them. This is a project where the Leos helped and served in a kind of chapel. So they served for meals, and they also did this eye scanning eyesight programs. Crockett is a very small town in the north of Houston, Texas. Only 7,000 people live there. This was my Airbnb, which you can see. It's a very lovely house. And the Alpha Leos decided to go to Tyler, which is like 2 hours driving by bus, and they were packing food boxes in a food bank. So they did like 8,000 of these boxes within a day. Let's go to Salta, Argentina. This is a nice project which shows how generations can work together. This Lion's friend, his wife died in 2016 in December. So since then he was alone. The Leos, which you can see on the picture, they don't want him to be alone. So they decided to go there every other Saturday, talk with him, play with him, exchange experiences. Like he can tell a lot about Lionism. He was serving the Lions for 50 or so years, and the Leos, they can tell him about what they are doing, which is a pretty nice idea. Something new, I did not know about this before. The Lions and Leos, they have their own homes there. Then they have a place where they can go, they can meet, they can do workshops together, and they can spend a lot of time together. For example, we in Austria, we meet in cafes or in restaurants, so we don't have a fixed place to go. So for them it's like normal to go there, to cook, to have dinner together, to play cards, like in this picture. And they also have a very speciality. In Argentina they have the so-called cachorritos. It's very young Leos from 6 to 12 years of age. Then they have the Alpha Leos, Omega Leos, and the Lions for sure. And as you can see in the picture, they all meet, they all have a good time, they all do projects together, which is like wow. As you can see here, this was on the next day. We did a nice project together with the Lions and the Leos. You can see the Lions in the background, observing the Leos doing their project. And they built gardens for an orphanage. And you can see here they told the kids how to plant the trees, the plants and the vegetables. And also at the end they explained everything in detail to them. And they also promised when everything is grown, they will come back and cook a meal together with the kids. This is Quilmes. It's roughly an hour in the south of Buenos Aires. It's a very poor neighborhood, as you can see. And the Leos, they used to go to this this daycare and bring them books and stuff for the library. They used to play with them, bring them milk and cookies. Here you can see the library. In the background you can see the shelf with the books. So also in the same town or in the same neighborhood, the Lions and the Leos, they have their own home again, or also, and which is so nice to see because they open it also for other people. In this case, people who just like to go to do sports. And like 2 hours later, this room was changed to our meeting room and where we had dinner. And when you turn left from this room, you come to this big hall where people or kids can play soccer. And the Lions, they pay for a professional soccer trainer. So the kids who don't have the chance to go to a professional soccer training get the chance to learn how to play soccer, which is a pretty good idea, I think. I think Comodoro Rivadavia is the most southern Leo club in the world, if I'm not mistaken. They were so happy that I was visiting them. Only 7 people are there, only 7 Leos are in this club. And it was very sad because when I landed, there was the flood going on and heavy rainfalls. It was so heavy rainfalls that they don't know how to cope with it. They didn't have so much rainfalls the last 40 years. And so the Leos desperately wanted to help. So as you can see, it was awful situation. So they went to supermarkets, bought everything they could buy and bring it to shelters, as you can see here. And also they started to bake bread and cook some fresh food and bring it to the neighborhoods. Let's jump over to Europe and see what Leos are doing there. So this is Porto in Portugal. I attended a really nice project with the Lions together and the Leos and lions together. So in a park in the center of Porto, they brought 400 school kids from the neighborhood and made it possible that they can get in touch with the emergency, with the first responders. So for example with firefighters, emergency room teams, and so on. And the Leos, they took care about the kids, they showed them around, they played with them, they served them pizza, as you can see on the next picture. It was really pretty good activity because it was such a nice weather. And it was also good to see that the lions and the Leos, they worked together hand in hand. For example here, the lions, they were preparing the food packages for the kids. Denmark is a very young Leo country. They have a lot of new Leo clubs, and for them it's very important to serve kids. So their slogan is "Put a smile on children's faces." They say, let's go to the hospital, let's go to children's daycares and make them smile. So when I was there, it was on Halloween 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we went to a children's hospital and we did this painting and played with the kids. It was a really nice activity. Some projects from my loved country, Austria. Our signature project is called Leo Lions Aktionstag. It means together with the lions we go to a supermarket chain in all over Austria and we ask people to buy one product more, like toothbrush or rice or noodles, and they should give us, or they can give us, the product and we will donate it to people who really need it. And it's a very nice project because we do it together with the lions, and people, they understand that Leos, they belong to the lions and we are the same clubs and we serve together, which is pretty good, and we can help a lot of people with this project. A funny story from Italy. When I went there, it was my very first trip in 2014 when I started the project. As you can see here, the Leo gong, as you know, you can deassemble it and then you can turn it around and assemble it again and you get this cup. And this cup can be filled with whatever liquid you want. In this case it's wine, red wine, and the new president has to drink it. And then you have to turn it around like this, and when there's one drop of red wine coming down, you have to drink it again, fill it up and drink it again. It's a really fun part. But nevertheless, they also do like serious projects. In this case, in this picture you can see the preparations of a theater play. This play is about Helen Keller, as you might heard of her. She challenged the lions to fight against eyesight. So they learned this project, they learned this theater, and they played it in this wonderful open air theater. A project which is out of the world in really many points. It's in Poznan, it's in Poland, and each year the Leos there, they do a special kind of fashion show. And when I was there 2 years ago, they held this fashion show in an airport, which is super crazy because, as you can see here on the left side, there's this check-in area. On the right hand side you can enter the airport, and so the airport was closed for this fashion show, and they prepared everything. They had 2 professional designers who donated their dresses. They had professional models who modeled for them, and as you can see here, it was a big event, completely out of this world, I guess. So something completely different, more back to the roots, back to we serve. It was in Romania, in Bucharest. The Leos there, they decided to serve in a coffee shop, and in this coffee shop they were serving the people for the whole day, and they explained what Leo is, what they do, why do they collect the tips. So it was a pretty good day because they were working for 16 hours or so. And it was so nice to see that there was also a Lions Club, a Leo Club advisor, a lion, and he was talking to them. He was telling them maybe to improve certain kind of things. They were listening to him. It was a good atmosphere because I did not know about this. I had no experience how and that there is a Lions advisor at all, because as I said earlier, nobody told me how a Leo Club is provided or run. So for sure at the end, counting the money was a really good thing. It was like $400 they were able to earn on this day. The first time for me when I went far away from Europe, it was to India, Nepal and Sri Lanka. So let's start in India. For sure, Taj Mahal, we had to see it. It's such a wonderful sight. But when we arrived in Delhi, it was very early in the morning. We just were walking around in Delhi center, and we found this Lions Blood Donation Bank bus. And it was so good to see because it was such a new culture and everything was so new. And we went to the Lions and we said, oh, we are Leos and we are from Austria, and they were welcoming us very. They said, hey, welcome to India and so nice to see you. And they were explaining us everything, and we could go into the bus and see what they were doing. It was really a nice situation, and especially this was the moment where I realized that Lions and Leos is an international network, and wherever you go and wherever you can see the emblem, the Lions or Leo emblem, you have some friends there. This is also in Delhi. Together with the Leos we went to a school in Noida, and these kids, they were normally that they wouldn't go they wouldn't get some education, but the Lions, they bought a school, they pay for the teachers, they pay for the uniforms, and so these kids are able to get some education. This is a women's shelter in Mumbai, and these women are women who were forced into prostitution, and they were able to go there. They can get some help. The Leos helped them. They spent some time with them. We were singing and dancing and you know, having a good time. And also on the same day, the Lions, together with the Leos, they bought 2 sewing machines. So the the women they were able to make their own product, sell it, earn some money, and get back to regular life. And it was day of Holy Festival, so we had a lot of fun with colors. It was so new to me, but we had such a great time. This was in Chennai, in south of India, another eyesight program. Maybe you can remember the eyesight program from the United States with this modern machine they had. This is how they do it in India. Also very interesting projects I was able to capture in Kathmandu in Nepal. So when I was president, we were so proud to do 12 projects a year. It was like every month we did one project. And when I got to know these guys from Kathmandu, they told me that they do 130 projects a year, which was like, whoa, what the hell, how many projects can you do? But they were so into Leonism, and it was so good to see how they work and how, you know, how easy it is to do a nice project. So on this day we went to a supermarket, we bought some bread and butter and jam and eggs, and we drove to an orphanage outside of Kathmandu, and we served breakfast for the kids, which was very new to me, but very nice feeling, and it was so good to play with them. They were so happy that, you know, Europeans were there. Sorry, excuse me. We had a great time together. We also met this lady. She's not a lion, she's not a Leo, she's an artist from Italy, and she decided to spend 3 months of her life together with the kids, paint these pictures, and she was exhibiting in an art gallery in London and New York, and selling those pictures and give all the money to the kids of this orphanage, which was, you know, wow, so good. Let's go to Indonesia, Medan, where I had such a good time there. Also, this project was so amazing because it's also so simple. Those three ladies in the background, they're ongoing dentists, so they told the kids how to take care of the teeth, and you know, how to brush the teeth properly. And also the Leos, they brought them toothbrush and toothpaste, and they were like trying it, and it was a good time. They also prepared some food which they brought on that day. Let's go to Malaysia, where you are at the moment. So I have visited two clubs there, one in near Kuala Lumpur and one in Batu Berhad. I was attending this cookie baking the other day. So the girls, they prepared some cookies which were then given to people in a park on the next day. It was just, you know, oh, here it is, the Leo Club of Asunta. I'm sure you know them. It was good to see. It was really good to see, because we don't do this in Austria. Bake cakes, cookies, go to a park and give it to people, talk to them, say thank you. Wow, that's very powerful. Also, the first time I saw in Batu Berhad that Leonism is also taking care of the environment, not only about helping people or supporting other people or helping children. It's also about environment, and I could attend several projects of environment care, like this, sorting the trash, or going to the jungle and pick up the trash. This was also such a nice project. It's so simple. Go to the street vendors, tell them that plastic trash is not good, and exchange plastic bags with recycled bags, or give them recycled bags instead. So the last stop for now is Manila in the Philippines. Just a few projects. I have the week I have been there, I have attended so many projects, so just a few of those. This was in a neighborhood where they explained kids how to wash their hands properly, which was also a very nice project, because it's so necessary to tell them. And in the background you can see this literature bus where the pupils can go and lend some books and read comics. There was also this feeding, which you might be familiar with. And also it was new to me that Leo spent so much time together as friends, as a network, because as you could see in my in the very first pictures, we met in our office, we met like on a professional level, and after the meeting everyone, you know, left, and we did not spend so much time together. It was so good to see that the Leos are really like friends, like really big friends. This was in Cavite, a project where the Leos help kids to pick up the trash next to their homes and next to the school. They also brought them fresh food, which they prepared, which was so nice to see all the kids waiting for the food. Some books for the library. It was so good to see that there were so many projects going on a day. Another school in Bataan, where it was the first time for me to see like the comic book reading and the dancing with the kids and the feeding, and there was like 4 projects on one day, or maybe 5 projects. It was so good to see, and it was so inspiring and so motivating. Again, homes shared together with the Lions and the Leos, and they told me that they also have a Leo book, and this is so nice to see that, because I've never heard about this. The Leos, they collect all the projects, they print it once a year, they bind it and give it to the lions as a little present and say, look, that's what we have done. And I tell this story to every club I am, because it's so easy to make and makes a big impact. So, as you could see, this was the end of the journey for this presentation. I think I talked more than 20 minutes. I'm sorry for this, but thank you so much for listening. The question is, what does make me a lion? When you can think back of Steve, he had his story, I had my story. I think being a lion is everything, every single moment I could experience the last several years with the Leos and together with the lions. And I think it's very important that you find out what makes you a Leo or what makes you a lion. And well, I'm really proud to be a lion, to be honest, and I'm proud to be several thousand kilometers away and still be able to talk to you, and you listen to me, and we know that we are friends and we can meet each other every time. So whenever you come to Europe, feel free to contact me and I will show you around. You can follow me on Facebook, you can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on my weblog. I would really love to get some shares and likes and comments from you guys, or maybe some feedback from this presentation. And I hope you enjoyed your Oseal Forum. And well, thank you very much. Bye bye, Leos.